This is noisy. There we go.
How'd you do that?
As you wish.
Question from the last session. Is that okay to start with? So at the end point where you have the six-syllable mantra on a moon disc in your heart and you have offered light up and down, are you transforming the Buddhism bodhisattvas at the end and the people you've offered the blessings to, are you transforming them into Vajrasattva and dissolving them into your
Yes, you
heart
can.
units?
Yes, yep. They are also transform into Vajrasattva. If you, yeah,
Before,
yes.
after offering up and
After, yep.
okay, thank you.
Usually, well, for me, I visualize that just as an ordinary being, sentient beings, rather than visualize, they are Vajrasattva. I mean, then, my mind is easily focused how to purify their negative karma and how to help them. Like, that's make, my mind sort of a little bit develop, and into, bodhicitta or compassion. So I can develop my compassion, think about others' suffering, and give them this, compassion. So that's I do. Usually when I practice Vajrasattva, I keep them just as ordinary beings. But if you want, they also transform into Vajrasattva and then say this mantra together. That's fine.
Okay, so if you don't transform them into Vajrasattva, so then when you're dissolving the syllables, do they just fall away? The Buddhist
They dissolve into, yes, into lights, and light dissolve into the Vajrasattva and six syllable like that. If you want to big visualization, you have to think about, visualize whole this universe, and universe also dissolve into lights and into Vajrasattva like that. But I always keep simple, I mean, sometimes people are very confused with the visualizations, if they are very beginners, so it's not so, easy for them. So that's all. When you listen like this kind of teaching and learning, discussion is very important. Usually we just, teacher give you the teachings and then you meditate, and then maybe sometimes you have a few questions and that's all. But according to, the Tibetan, how they learn in Buddhism, the most important is discussion, talk about each other, and that's how you learn, about Buddhism. But unfortunately, we don't have that kind of culture in this here. But slowly, maybe, teacher talk less, and then more discuss, about the topic, and share your experience and your knowledge each other. That's very important. That's how we learn. How I learned when I was at Tibet. Very little, and we most every day teacher teach us 2 hours every day, and then that's after the lunch, he teaches, 2 hours, and then we are together, students together, and talk and discuss that topic he's teaching and debate each other. That's how you really learn it. It's really important, but we don't have that. But sometimes we have discussion group. That's very important. So now this, again, the Vajrasattva practice, this kind of practice involves both visualization and recitation. But most important thing to remember is to the visualization while we are doing the recitations. When you meditate like this, and you may think that, oh, I can't visualize because this is too much, or there are so many thoughts come up when you do this. So sometimes you think, oh, this is too much, I can't meditate on that, Then you lose your sort of confidence and you lose your interest, So that's not so good. And also some people think that visualization is kind of, funny, It's kind of, when you visualize, you are just sort of making something up. Sometimes people think that, but it's not just making something up. It's most powerful. These visualizations, most powerful method to destroy the ordinary negative thoughts, our thoughts. When you visualize that, remember, you visualize, you focus on your visualizations, the object, your other thoughts, negative thoughts, no longer there. Do you understand that? So that's why this is sometimes we call protector. Protect your mind. Destroy your negative thoughts when you visualize. Visualization is another thoughts, according to Buddhism, but positive thoughts, not negative thoughts. Okay? So sometimes people think, oh, in Buddhism, there are so many visualizations, so that's just something making them, something, kind of visualization is funny. But that's not true, This is, Vajrasattva is a real Buddha and came to this earth and as an ordinary being like us and became enlightened, right? So that's the real. We have visualized the Vajrasattva as a Buddha, is a real Buddha, who has a full compassion. It's not just making something up. And then all these 100-syllable mantra, very powerful mantra. So that's why when you focus on that and do this every day, and your visualizations more better and better every day, deeper, clear, vivid, all the time, better, 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 better. So that if you do this, then eventually there's no other negative thoughts when you visualize, because we can't thinking two things at a one time. So that's why this is, very powerful and good method to destroy these negative thoughts. And this is really sort of destroy our negative thoughts, purify our, daydreams, like we are thinking so many things that never happened, but we are thinking all the time. Of course, many of you know how to practice Vajrasattva. You already actually finished practice 100,000 this Vajrasattva, right? 100,000 times. But many of you don't know how to practice Vajrasattva. This is very important. You should practice. So the visualization is very important part of the practice, because it is not just about the recitation. Okay? And another thing, why it is Vajrasattva that we choose for this purification, and why is the practice about Vajrasattva the best method for ordinary people like us? Why, there are so many Buddhas, bodhisattvas, but we choose, when we practice the purification, we choose Vajrasattva, right? It is because when Vajrasattva was a human being, is an ordinary living like us, and he was on the path of learning, and he prayed, he promised, he said that he created a kind of, his motivation was, I become a fully enlightenment Buddha. And may all beings be purified of their obscurations, their ignorance, and their negative actions, simply by hearing my name and seeing my pictures, forms, and thinking about me, or reciting this 100-syllable mantra. All that's his motivation, All his prayers or motivation were accomplished and successful. And Vajrasattva became a Buddha, So therefore, his promise to help all people and all the time who really want to purify their negative actions. That's why we choose Vajrasattva. We need that, right? We are right now learning and on the path. We are ordinary person, ordinary beings with full of thoughts, full of negative karmas. So we are learning now. We're trying to purify our negative. You have to always, I say, correct your motivation, which means, therefore, sure, if you do this continually, life after life, become one time you become a Buddha. So what is your intention? What is your motivation? Even a Buddhist point of view, the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, they have a different motivation, right? Different, I become a Buddha, I want to do this. I want to do that, right? For instance, Vajrasattva, when he learning and he practiced meditation on his path, his motivation was, I want to help people to purify their negative karma if they practice about me. So his motivation like that. What is your motivation? Think about it, right? You want to become a Buddha or not? Doesn't matter. If you do this continually, have a, you practice meditation always like this. Maybe there is no chance to become a Buddha this lifetime, but another time you become a Buddha. So you have to that, sort of motivation. If I become a Buddha, I want, people want to practice bodhicitta. So that's my point of view, is the bodhicitta is the most important practice. That's my point of view, my learning. I am practice bodhicitta myself. Also, who follows me, my student, I want to learn in bodhicitta. I want to practice bodhicitta. That's my main motivation, how I help others. So that's the kind of same things. When you become a Buddha, what is your intention? What is your motivation, right? So that's why Vajrasattva, why we choose Vajrasattva, because we want now purify, so Vajrasattva is the best, So that's why maybe you wonder, why Vajrasattva is the best method for purify our negative karma. So that's why. And Vajrasattva is practice that is mostly to purify negative actions and obscurations that are the main obstacles to the realization of the profound path to enlightenment, realization of the nature of mind. Understand? These negative actions and obscurations. Okay? These two are the main obstacles to realization of our nature of mind. So that's why we have to purify first in order to, if you really want to understand and realize your nature mind, you have to purify this first. Otherwise there's no way to really understand the nature of phenomena, the reality. So that's why this is the correct way to practice, That's how we, go step by step. You can't jump, if you have no capacity. So that's why obscurations, negative action must purify in order to become enlightenment, become a Buddha. So the term negative actions and obscuration is used to here in general meaning. It refers to four kinds of obscurations. Okay, obscuration. First, karmic obscurations. Second is obscuration of negative emotions. Third is conceptual obscurations. And fourth is the obscuration of habitual tendencies. So there are four different kinds of obscurations. So when we say the first, the karmic, the obscuration means naturally negative actions, such as killing or what you call stealing, so on and so forth. That's naturally. Some people really don't care, kill others happily. Actually, sometimes people, want to kill, and that's we call karmic obscurations. These are naturally negative actions, karmic obscurations. Just this sort of non-virtues, we call karmic obscurations. And then the second, the obscuration of negative emotion means that there are three the root afflictions, right? Attachment, anger, and ignorance, right? This is we called the obscuration of negative emotions. Pride, jealous, ignorance, attachment, all these obscurations of negative emotions. And the third obscuration, the conceptual obscuration, means we most time believe that all these phenomena truly exist and sort of permanent forever, without understand interdependent arise, or without understand the emptiness. That is conceptual obscurations. We think all these phenomena is truly exist, which means you don't. If you think that means you don't understand interdependent arising. You don't understand the emptiness. You don't understand the impermanence, the nature of this phenomena. The characteristic of this whole phenomena is two things: impermanent and emptiness. That's the definition of all phenomena. Everything is emptiness. So therefore, everything is impermanent. Understand? If you understand emptiness, then definitely you understand everything is changing and impermanent. And interdependent arise, which means without cause and conditions. Without cause and conditions, nothing happens. Without emptiness, nothing happens. If these things not emptiness, you can't be here today. Buddhist point of view, emptiness, understand the emptiness, understand the impermanence is the fundamental. Understand the emptiness and impermanence is the real purpose. So therefore, usually we attach to this and that, right? Because we don't understand emptiness. We don't understand impermanence. You think this is forever. You think this is exist. That's what we call obscuration, conceptual obscuration. Fourth, the obscuration of the habitual tendon. Habitual tendons means this is very subtle form of conceptual obscuration. Sometimes, even though the bodhisattvas have this kind of subtle thoughts, in very sort of short period of time. That's what we called habitual tendons. We have, of course, this, but we have growth. Always we understand, we always see these thoughts, right? Bodhisattvas, no, they don't have that kind of thoughts, but sometimes they have a subtle, very subtle thoughts. That's also obscurations in order to become a Buddha. That's what we call the habitual tendons, obscurations, the fourth obscuration of the habitual tendons. So that is in general how we explain negative action and obscuration. In order to purify this negative action completely, we must rely on 4 powers. These are very important, okay? You need to keep these teachings in mind. Otherwise, useless. You come here, listen teaching, go home, nothing. Right? You forget everything. Then that is you waste your time. And if these things broke, there is a hole, doesn't matter you pour water so many times, it's nothing there, right? It's go away. Like that. If you don't keep your mind these teachings, always you forget. And then when you practice Vajrasattva, you don't remember. You don't remember visualizations. You don't remember how important Vajrasattva practice. You don't remember the 4 powers. So, now you understand we are purified. When we practice Vajrasattva, we purify these negative actions and obscurations. So you understand that. What is negative actions or obscuration? In order to purify this, now 4 powers, okay? Shantideva says few questions and answer. What is to be purified? What is to be purified? Shantideva said the 6 doors of negative actions. Okay? I will explain them later when we talk about power of regret. And Shantideva said, what does the purify? This antidote, right? Antidotes, the 4 powers. How do they purify? How do they purify? With the 3 supreme methods. I think you know this, but the 3 supreme methods means before beginning, you correct your motivation, giving rise to the bodhicitta as a skillful means to make sure that the action becomes a source of good for the future. First supreme, the methods. Develop your great compassion and give rise the bodhicitta, altruistic mind. How you start, okay? And second supreme method is to have a mind free from conceptualization. which means to practice without distraction. Whatever we do, we should practice with a concentrated mind and never be sort of carried away by distraction. So that's the second. You have to focus on your main meditation without thoughts. And then third spring method is conclude with the dedication, right? Whatever merit has been generated must be dedicated for the sake of all beings. So these three spring methods, the first, motivation, second, contemplation, third, dedication. These are we call three spring methods. How you purify your negative karma and actions. Longchenpa, very important teacher in Nyingma lineage. Longchenpa says, begin with the thought of bodhicitta and compassion when you meditate. In the middle, do the main practice without concepts. And then conclude by dedicating the merit. So these three things put together all the time when you are going to practice meditation. Very important. Now we need to understand about the four powers. You understand these? Four powers? These are part of Vajrasattva practice, right? The four powers are the power of support, first. Second, power of regretting having done wrong. And then third, power of resolution. And then fourth, power of action as an antidote. Four powers so important. Without the four powers, you cannot practice Vajrasattva. Okay? So the first power of, what is the first power? Huh? Support. Yes, first power of support. This is Vajrasattva, right? Vajrasattva, the power of support means to take refuge in Vajrasattva and use him as your support. So we already understand that, right? I already described how we use him as our support. When we sort of they talk about visualizations. So usually the power of this first power, there's three things. The first, the outer power of support is meditation on the teacher as a Vajrasattva, right? And then inner power of the support is develop great compassion or bodhicitta. That's your inner support. And then secret power of support is recognition of the true nature of mind, which is the union of compassion and emptiness. So you understand, first, power. And the second power of regretting having done wrong. This means we develop a sort of deep feeling of regret while we sort of confess or we apologize our negative past actions. So now, how we do this? We need to think about Remember, the Shantideva says 6 doors negative actions that, Shantideva says. So these are the part of the power of regret, the 6 doors. The first door is we call door of time. All the negative actions we have accumulated in samsara from time without beginning until now, right? And negative acts that we have committed in such and such a year, such and such a month, and every day, negative acts such, as these have committed, and also we have incited, others to commit. And we sort of rejoiced at their sort of being done, these things. So all this we had done, in limitless times. So that's the first door. You have to think about, I accumulate this my negative karma beginningless, long time. When you, right now the second power, right, regret. When you think about this, you had first think about time, okay? And the second door is the door of motivation. And it refers to all negative actions motivated by attachment, anger, and ignorance, right? That's our motivation, how we accumulate our negative emotions, negative karma. Motivation is not so good, not pure by these defilements, ignorance, anger, attachment. So that's what we call door of motivation. Door of time, door of motivation. And then third door is the door of accumulation. It refers to all the negative actions we have gathered with our body, speech, and mind. Right? And then fourth door is the door of the nature. It refers to all our naturally negative actions, such as the 10 negative virtues, 10 negative actions. Naturally. Negative actions, easily, we can do things easily, right? But positive actions, very difficult, right? We have to meditate, we have to think correctly, you have to change your mind, it's difficult. But negative actions, easily, because the nature of door, we used this so long time, beginningless, so powerful, then, it's easy to harm others naturally. Okay, that is the fourth, right? Door of nature. Yeah. And then fifth door is the door of object. Door of object, which refers to all the negative actions we have accumulated in relation to samsara, object. And then sixth door, the door of function. It refers to all the negative actions and, frequent illness, all of this sort of sufferance, actually, the suffering, function, sufferance, and all the negative actions that we have accumulated. So sixth door is very important, Sixth object, samsara. Function is fifth, right? Fifth is object. Function, okay, the sufferance. Sixth. There was a very great teacher, Khenpo Sherab in Tibet. Dzogchen master. Unfortunately, I never met him. I really want, but never met him. He passed away when I was in Tibet. He's a great teacher and Dzogchen master. And then there is Khenpo, another Khenpo went and see him, met him, and I want teaching, Dzogchen teaching, some Dzogchen very, just not long, I don't have lots of time, but just shortly, a good instruction, can you give me that? And then he asked, who are you? Where you study? What are all these things? He said, I'm a Khenpo. I understand Buddhist philosophy very, very, very deeply, very clearly. He said, Okay, then you are Khenpo, you are wise. What are the 6 doors? He couldn't answer. These 6 doors, not Buddhist philosophy. This is we call mind training. How to practice mind training. Sometimes that happens. These 6 doors, very easy to understand. There's nothing difficult. But if you don't practice, then you don't remember. Then you don't know. Somebody asks like that, oh, I don't know. Which means you really understand, Buddhist philosophy and you know how to teach that. But small thing, this very important, which is mind training, you don't understand. That means you are not good practitioner. So sometimes when I ask students, what are the 4 powers? Keep in mind, very important. 4 powers are the part of Vajrasattva practice. Without 4 powers, now you understand. Okay, we are not finished 4 powers. This is the power of regret, right? So the second. Okay, now first, and now 3rd power of resolution. This means to make a promise to never do these negative actions ever again if we can. Without making a vow for the future, there is also no purification. We have no vows, no like that promise. We accumulate negative actions, negative things every day. So then there is no purification. So we make of this sort of promise, we will become more and more pure. And eventually we can purify all our negative actions completely. If we purify it by, confess or apology from, deep bottom your heart, your mind, and resolving never do again. Never, commit this non-virtues again. Otherwise, there is no way this negative karma, no way they will disappear by themselves. In addition, they will increase more, right? So we must purify them with apology. And we apologize not only for the negative actions we have committed within this life and in this body, but also, for all the negative actions we have committed since beginningless time until now. So this is we call power of resolution. These 2 powers, the most important. If you don't have, the first is regret, which means we did something wrong. Because we are here, samsara, and unhappy, suffering. So we recognize that. That helps, okay, I'm not going to do that again. That's what you call resolution, right? So then your Vajrasattva practice, Vajrasattva is working. Otherwise, you rejoiced whatever you done something wrong, or somebody's done something wrong, and you never promise again that do bad things. What is your practice in Vajrasattva? What is the purpose? So these two things, very important, two powers. And then fourth power of the action is antidote, right? So this power means to do as many positive actions as we can as an antidote to our past negative actions. For example, of these positive actions are being happy when others do good things, rather than jealous. Cultivating bodhicitta in action and aspiration, and dedicating the merit of all good things that we do. But in this case, the power of action as antidote refers to visualize remember the nectar flowing down and cleansing us, right? Purified negative karma and obscurations. That is as an antidote. So these are the four powers, and we always teach these powers when you practice Vajrasattva. So no powers, no four powers, no Vajrasattva practice. Understand? You visualize Vajrasattva. That's your refuge. Support your power. And then you visualize the nectar, the wisdom, the compassion from Vajrasattva's heart. All these 100-syllable mantras from the nectars come from that, goes in your body, mind, purify. That is the power, the fourth power, the power of antidote. And the other two, you have to remember. Do you remember something you have done wrong? You don't have to tell others. You have to really think. Your mind. Oh, that's really negative. Oh, that's very bad. Regret. I will never do that again. I promise. That's two powers. Resolution and regret. These four powers. Any questions? Yeah?
I have a question about the 6 drawers. Is there any chance you could ask about that right now or no?
Yes.
I was curious about examples for nature, objects, and the other one. Functional.
The function?
Yeah. No, could you give like examples just to explain those better?
You mean you don't understand?
I think so.
Okay. So the second door is, what is the second door? Motivation. For instance, motivation connect not good motivation. We talking about this, the 6 doors, right? Which means that we are talking about how the power of the regret, right? So done something wrong. So motivation this time related to the 3 defilements, the affliction, the attachment, anger, ignorance. Whenever you do or think, your motivation connect with these 3 things, attachment, anger, ignorance, it's negative. Understand? Understand? Do you understand attachment? No? You like to something, and you can't let that go, right? That's your attachment. That's our attachment. Okay? You understand ignorance? Doing things without knowing. And anger. So these are, we call bad motivation, defilements, afflictions, harm you, harm others. That's your motivation this time. Second, third, accumulation. Accumulation is time, beginningless. Even though if you think about this lifetime, 40 years old, 50 years old, 30 years old, we accumulated only negative, almost, every day negative. Now we are 40, 50. Are we going to do that again, like continually, or are we going to change? Accumulate negative karma, change into accumulate positive karma, or not? That depends you. Okay? Object. Nature, yeah. If you understand the bad motivations, then you understand the nature, the result. You angry with somebody angry with you. The result, this situation going worse and worse and never getting better. Because there's no compassion. There's no love. Without compassion, love, you don't understand others. Never you don't understand others. You only understand others, always wrong. That's why, naturally, all these things naturally negative and non-virtue, your action. That's all. Object is suffering, right? Samsara. If you have a negative karma, negative motivation, result, suffering.
How is that an object?
The suffering?
I don't understand how the word object applies to that concept.
Samsara is object. We called
Isn't it just thinking the self? It's an attachment to self which leads you to samsara, to the 12 links of interdependent origination.
you focus on samsara.
You're stuck in
You
It's the object of your
you focus in samsaric way. Whatever you do, things, everything related on samsara.
Got it.
That's why this is the object. All right.
Function.
Oh my goodness. Function. Is the function is the last one? Okay, if I told, then that's all. Okay. That's the wrong, yeah. Suffering is the function. Well, if you are sick, that is the function. That is the suffering, right? If you're sick, you are suffering. your function not very well. So the fifth door is the object. You understand that? Object. You accumulated in relation, right? Relation to samsara. So that's why the object. And then we have this object, samsara, and we are samsara. And then whatever we do, the function is suffering. That is the nature of the samsara. So we're sick, we're unhappy, we're angry, all this suffering. These are we call suffering. Understand? This is the function. Our function is not very well motivated by negative emotions. Then the result, everything. Result is suffering. This is related to cause and conditions. If you have a bad cause and conditions, you result negative. Function is like result. You accumulate all this negative, and then you're being born in samsara, and then your function is suffering. You are suffering. That's why you have to regret. Yes, exactly. These 6 doors, it's about regret. Because we do these things, okay, 6 doors, think about it. Your time, wrong. Second, what? Motivation is wrong. Third, accumulation is wrong. We don't want suffering. Completely wrong. We are suffering. So all the 6 doors, we have done something wrong. So we have to understand that. So stop there. 6 doors. These negative 6 doors transform into positive 6 doors, which is the opposite of these 6 doors, okay? That's the real, yeah.
So thank you,
You're welcome.
because I feel like for the first time,
To hear these 6 doors.
to see her 6 doors, to hear a combination with so regret and the resolve is about renunciation.
Exactly.
When Shantideva gets mad at the ego, he's having a debate with himself, and it's about determination. So it's the renunciation. Sorry.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So when we, sometimes people don't understand about Vajrasattva practice when we say, think about this power of regret. People really uncomfortable. You feel that all the time you are right. You are doing something good. And many students asked me, I have nothing, I think about regret. Okay, then I told them, I don't agree that. You have to think carefully and deeply. You can think about past your life, but you think about this life. Not just, intellectually. You have to think really deeply. And then these students told me, I've done this wrong. Just I want to let you know. And they told me what they'd done wrong. And then I said, okay, that's good. You recognize that. And then you don't have to worry now. So you've done something wrong. That means that's already gone, past. But never do that again. That's the resolution. That's the most important. Otherwise, if you don't recognize your regret something wrong, then there is no resolution, So the purpose of the think about third power, this regret, is the purpose is never do that again. That is the main thing. Understand? Yeah.
When you make that promise and vow not to do that again, but we have these karmic sort of tendencies that, we do these things again. I mean, is it so, what's the result of that? When you say, I'm not going to do this anymore, but then you make
I told you if you practice this and then never you don't have that promise and you do accumulate, you do that all the time, no purification. So that's why I always say the masters, the teachers always say every day at least practice Vajrasattva 100 syllable mantra with the visualization with 4 powers 21 times before you go to bed. Because every day, think about every day how negative things we accumulate every day. Think about your motivations all the time. Our motivation is really selfish all the time.
In some ways though, we're in samsara, it's impossible sometimes not to accumulate negativity. For example, just driving our cars, we're killing insects all the time by driving over them, even if we don't want to. So how do we deal with that nature of the fact that we exist? We cause suffering just by our very existence.
Yes, that's why samsara is suffering. Samsara, the characteristic of samsara is suffering.
we accept it. We accept it. This is
You accept, you have to escape samsara. You have to get enlightenment. I mean, these things, as long as samsara, we are suffering because we accumulate all this negative thing every day. But there is a purification. That's why, you have to recognize today what you done, negative, something non-virtuous. You have to recognize that, and then that day, same day, you have to purify. Told you, remember there is nothing good about bad, the non-virtues and this bad karmas, obscurations, but good thing is you can purify.
What did you say that, like, the non-intentional, not motivational killing of insects would be more of like a cultivation of bodhicitta, compassion, and then, intentional, sort of, not intentional, but like, other...
These are, if you, without your motivation, you do these things, constantly, but, that's we call it subtle, remember the obscurations? That's also kind of obstacle to the, become a Buddha, but that's not strong. This kind of negative is not strong as your motivations. Usually, if you have a motivation and do something bad things behind the motivation, your motivation is also negative, right? So that is more powerful, more stronger than this kind of thing. So according to Buddhism, motivation is the most important.
Would that fall under the door of nature, like, stepping on ants by accident? Is that like just like the nature of
Nature, yeah.
because we're here and we walk?
But then you recognize that, that's something wrong.
Yeah.
So I will be careful and mindfully, whatever I do, whatever I say, according to Buddhism, that's why we always also say mindfulness is so important, right? How you do things, how you say things. Always be with, be or mindful. Mindfully. If you have a mindfulness, then almost positive, 100% you're doing something, whatever you do, say, is good. But these things, we are doing these things, is, not necessarily behind their bad motivation, but also no mindfulness. Okay. 100-syllable mantra again. So if you understand the visualizations, not necessarily say this the visualization prayer. You just start the 100-syllable mantra will be fine. Okay? Just to relax and correct your motivation, and then say the 100-syllable mantra with visualization. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Mana Balaya Vajrasattva Teno Bhati Tanda Do Me Bawa Sado Kayo Me Bawa Sabo Kayo Me Bawa Anarakto Me Bawa Sarva Sadai Me Prayat Sarva karma satsa me tsadam sharyam kara hoy ha 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 hoy bangawan sarva tathanga tam banzar mame mansa banzar bawa maha samaya sadho. I'm going to say the Tibetan pronunciation, you know. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Mana Balaya Vajrasattva Teno Bhati Tanda Do Me Bhava Sado Kayo Me Bhava Sabo Kayo Me Bhava Anarakto Me Bhava Sarva Sada Me Prayat Sarva karma satsa me tsadam sharyam kuru hong ha 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 hoy bhagavan sarva tathanga banzar mame mansa banzar bhava maha samaya sadho. Maybe this time you should focus on pronunciation, not visualization, okay? You can do. I mean, it's of course it's hard for you because this is not your culture, you know. You're learning something different culture. It's always difficult, you know. I accept that, you know. I understand that. That's nothing wrong with that, you know. So just learning slowly.
Can we do it without the song? The song makes it really tricky.
Who likes with a song? Who don't like? You lose. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Mana Balaya Vajrasattva Teno Bhati Tanda Do Me Bhava Sado Kayo Me Bhava Sabo Kayo Me Bhava Anarakto Me Bhava Sarva Sade Me Prayat Sarva karma satsa me tsadam sharyam karo ha 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 ho bhagavan sarva tathanga banzar mame mansa banzar bhava maha samaya sadhu Om Vajrasattva Samaya Mana Balaya Vajrasattva Teno Bhati Tanda Do Me Bhava Sadhu Kayo Me Bhava Subho Kayo Me Bhava Rakto me bhava sarva siddhi me prayasa sarva karma zame siddham shriya karo ha 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 ho bhagavan sarva tathagat banjar mame man banjar bhava mahasamaya sadhu. The meaning of this 100-syllable mantra, if you want, that's, I think, in our website. You can learn in there. Now we have the, okay, I can't see that. We should say 6-syllable mantra. Om Banzar Sadhu, 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 Om Banzar Sadhu. Om Banzar Sadhu, 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 Om Banzar Sadhu. Om Banzar Sadhu, 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 Om Banzar Sadhu. Just to relax without thought. Look deeply into your mind, nature mind. This dedication to Vajrasattva, we pray, grant us without impediment of signal arising, favorable circumstance, the fulfillment of our aspirations, and attainment, ordinary and supreme, as all the victorious Buddhas, past, present, and future, his dedication is supreme. So now I too dedicate these sources of my merit for all beings to perfect good action. Through this very merit of mine, may every single sentient being eliminate all forms of negativity and practice virtues forevermore. May Supreme Precious Bodhisattva take birth where it has not arisen, where it has arisen, may it never wane, but continue to grow forevermore. May Supreme Precious Bodhisattva Take birth where it has not risen, where it has arisen, may it never end, but continue to grow forevermore. May supreme precious Bodhisattva take birth where it has not arisen, where it has arisen, may it never end, but continue to grow forevermore.